What is good, everybody, man? Thank you guys tuning in to Expert Mentors Live 261, and got a familiar face back in the house. What's up?
What's up, John? Thanks for having me again.
Yes, sir. I think you're making a run at who's been on the show the most, and got you back on Expert Mentors. It's always a treat to connect with you and dive into everything that's kind of going on, business, life, fitness, everything that it really takes to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, happy to have me on again, John. Honestly, it's always a pleasure. And before we jumped on, we're like, what the heck do we talk about today? And I think that's oddly enough, right before this podcast episode, I was at my office with our business partner, integrator Andrew. And we were shooting content around what to say, literally. So we just shot an hour's worth of content geared towards, hey, you're in this scenario. What would you do? How would you structure the conversation to a client? All that type of stuff. So for an hour, we went through situational content that we're going to post, obviously, in the upcoming weeks.
No, and always kind of looking, and it's a common, conversation that a lot of us are having, right? I don't know of anybody that's just absolutely, if they're absolute honest, right? That is absolutely, things are easy for them right now. I think everybody has their own struggle. As Mr. Gene Darden put it to me last week, man, I'm just in the suck. And I'm like, yeah, a lot of us are just in the suck. And, the only way to get out of the suck is through it. And, I've added an image to the last couple of presentations. Is actually the presentation that I was able to do with you in the collective with the American bison that's frozen over heading into the snowstorm. And, I gave that same presentation when I was at Cindy's office in Tyler a couple of weeks ago. And Tony King was there. He's VP of growth for EXP, and Tony was there. And after he's like, dude, he said the bison was really a great thing to point out and talk to agents about right now. And you got to think, I know you talk to a lot of agents, myself as well, but Tony King, VP of growth for EXP, he talks to way more agents than anybody else. And he's like, that's a great reminder for everybody right now is to be like the bison. Don't run away from the storm, face it, and then just get through it as fast as you can, get through that suck. So like for you and, working with Greg and the organization and Andrew and working with, Micah, the collective, Spence, the crew that your circle that you have, like, what are the things in the conversations that you guys are having amongst each other to keep pushing everybody through, right? Keep on, the feel, the when we don't even feel motivated, or we're lacking confidence. Like, what are the things that we're talking about? We're holding each other accountable, that we're pushing, that you guys are talking about.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if it's a misconception, but I think what a lot of agents probably think is that it doesn't happen to everybody, and I believe it definitely does. I think there's moments in our days, in our weeks, in our years where we're not feeling 100% us. We're not feeling 100% confidence. We're not 100% clear on where to go. And I mean, not 100%, but I mean, obviously we've sat down, we've created a strategy with you specifically. We have our vision, we have our commitments in place. So we have a very good idea, but sometimes you're just kind of like, I don't know where to take this today. And I felt that way a little bit yesterday, and I always have my ears turned on, and I'm listening to what you say and a lot of others say. But you, I forget where it was, but you said, oh, I think it was just one of your content posts. So FYI, they work. And you suggested 4 different books that you need to read. That was very recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just yesterday.
But you had already said it in one of our coaching calls, but then I saw your post and I'm like, all right, maybe I should listen to John on this one. And I switched on the book Turning Pro by Stephen Pressfield yesterday.
Yeah.
During a gym session. It's only a couple hours long. And that in that moment, that's what I literally needed to just flip my mindset a little bit from a little bit of a slump that I was in, and find that motivation that I because sometimes you need to go out and you need to find it. You need to get it on your own. It's what I needed. I listened to that book. It hit and resonated in more ways than I wish to admit. And I was like, all right, man, it's time to go pro again. That's literally what I said to myself. And some things that I've been pushing off for the last weeks and months, including, content creation, I absolutely crushed it today. Right. And so I don't know where I'm kind of going with that, but that's what I needed. I need to listen to that book. So if you're watching this or you read this or whatever you do, Turning Pro, right? Go check it out. It's an awesome book. If you're in a slump, I sent it to our entire organization. So I hope at least one person read it yesterday or is planning to read it because it worked for me and what I needed to do.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. And thank you for sharing that with us and then sharing it with your organization. It's a must book. And because, the one thing that really stands out in that book to me is addiction kills aspiration. And, the things that we aspire to be, the things that we want to do, that is, just, I mean, we all have it, right? We're humans. Every one of us have some type of addiction, and either it's a healthy one or a non-healthy one. And it's the seductiveness, man. It's just falling in love with, like what he talks about, right? You falling in love with the artist and the addict. And most people just tend to gravitate to the addict side of things and not do the thing, not do the work. It's funny. Cindy posted a reel in her community for the learning center of her office in Tyler. And she had a reel with a clip about me talking about that, talking about
Nice.
going pro. And so it's just funny. I saw that. And then you bring that up, but I think that's, I made my team go through it. Like, if it's the number to me, I can run down a list of must read books that will serve you right now. But what I was really kind of gravitating to for your business, for moving forward into the future, that's the first one you need to read. Obviously, if you're struggling a little bit more with, the mindset side of things, obviously, my number one is always the gap in the gain, understanding that concept to be able to go back and forward with it. And then obviously, if you're really kind of in the suck and you're becoming really paralyzed, that's where I think Outwitting the Devil is that's why it's my number 2 book, right? Because that's on accurate thought. And so when you have accurate thought and a framework to think more accurately, Turning Pro helps that, right? It's like, God dang. Okay. Right. Turning Pro to me, Brandon, was like looking in the mirror. It's really what that book was like, right? Like really, really like a self-accountability book. Like, am I acting with pro behavior, or am I an amateur? My amateur habits.
Yeah, and I think it's not easy, but I think depending on where you're at with your life, your career, a mix of both, that type of stuff can sneak up on you. And so we're always trying to, if you are in that slump, sometimes, like I said, you have to get yourself out of it. And a way to do that is typically through a really good book. So that one helped a lot yesterday.
Yeah, it's good. That's awesome. And then, The Obstacle is the Way with Ryan Holiday. Mm-hmm. Like that would be the little gift set, right? of helping me through the suck would be there. I could, we could give, Mindset with Carol Dweck. We can, Change Your Questions, Change Your Life, Marley Adams. We could, Byron Katie stuff, right? You can go way, way deep on the things to really help us all that we all struggle with. But I think those are great reference. And I think being able to pull the concepts out to be able to go back and they become tools for us, because I don't care who you are. There's ebbs and flows, and it's just like what we talk about, man, I just think, you know, life is like a river. You know, sometimes the river is perfect. It's smooth. We're just chilling, got a nice pace, sun's out. We got great friends. We got music. We got cold beers. And then sometimes, man, it's storming and we got our freaking crash helmets on. And you know, you know, I liken it to running. I liken it to running, man, is that you can feel on top of the world, and in less than a quarter of a mile later, a half a mile later, you're in complete polar opposite, right? And how do you deal with the highs and lows of endurance, of training, of cardio, of doing hard things? And it just carries over into everything else that we do in life.
100%, man. 100%.
So for you, Brandon, and being able to kind of you know, navigate those things and in the frameworks and putting in the work to make yourself stronger, but back to the business side of things, because I think, you know, back to those strategy sessions, like what we did in you know, with you and Greg in 2 days, you know, deep dive through the strategy of the business. That I know for certain. That's why kitchen table. That's why we do kitchen table, because I know small business entrepreneurs, real estate agents don't take the time to get out of their day to day to be creative and open up their minds and think about their business in regards to a bigger picture of their business, more strategic view of their business. And so, like, having that work in those frameworks, but sometimes like we veer off from that. Why do you think that is?
Probably for a few reasons, but one, if you're not constantly circling back to your clear vision, right, that you've created. So you're not reevaluating it. You're not you're not looking at the rocks every single day, the things that you need to accomplish and get done. I would say that would probably be the number one thing. But in our business, because it is so hectic and there is that production side of things, and, you know, obviously I still sell, Greg does too, and a lot of other people do. It's just really, it's easy to get caught up in all of that and in the mayhem of it. And so having those at minimum, you know, quarterly reevaluations of the vision to keep yourself on track are so important. And again, that's why kitchen table is so important. You get back in the same room, you take a look at your vision every 90 days, and you're getting re-clear on it all again. So if you have veered a little bit off path, you can get right back on it.
For kind of walking through that a little bit to like you said, we get so sucked into the day to day, and it's the whole, you're right, you can't see the picture inside of the frame, and so that allows you to kind of step outside of the frame to see really what's happening and what's going on. How for you, when you look at kind of decisions and making decisions for yourself and for your business, like what are the things that you kind of run them up against, kind of, you know, decision making filters? Like, what's that decision making process, you know, look like for you?
Is this for like tasks that we need to accomplish, or is this for
I think in general, right? I think we all have, you know, certain frameworks that we utilize, filters that we run things through to make decisions. So what does that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly want to always keep in mind of your core values. That's an obvious one, I believe. Is your decision making in alignment for the most part with them? Obviously, they're not going to be all like, oh, it doesn't fit into that box, so it's hard now. You still have to make smart business decisions, and you need to be open-minded to that too. I think that specifically, I think a lot of people like it's. I think you need to consider business, but also at the same time they need to align with core values. So I think it needs to be a mix of both. But you need to be open-minded. So I would think that would be our biggest filter, would be an alignment around that. And certainly we're open to doing things that we don't want to do. we're not, we know you need to get stuff done sometimes, but also too having that consideration. Being in the business 11 years now, we certainly want to continue to improve our lifestyle. Not that I need to not do anything. I just mean like I'm constantly trying to evolve into doing things that I really want to do now. Right at the beginning of your career, you have to do all the things for the most part you don't really particularly want to do. It's in that grind stage, and now we're just trying to create a better lifestyle for myself, my family, my business partners, anybody within proximity of me. So having that in mind too, but again too, for clarity, I still do things that I don't want to do when we need to do it.
Sure. Well, that's discipline, right?
Yes.
Doing the things that are required even when you don't want to do it.
100%.
And so I think, man, you look at kind of the levels, right? Within this business, and obviously it's survival, and then you get to that next is status, and from status goes to freedom goes to legacy. And I think how important it is in this, kind of maybe teeing it up for you a little bit here. It's so important to get real clear on what that vision is for your business, but also the vision for your life, and where they have to be a little bit different. In my experience, Brandon, where the only thing that's different, the vision that you have for your life and the vision that you have for your business, is the vision for your life. I can still subscribe to the, core values, purpose, and BHAG as the three boxes that have to be checked for a compelling vision. The only thing that I believe changes between personal and business is the BHAG, because I believe that your core values are your core values. I believe your purpose is your purpose. However, the big, hairy, audacious goal that you have for your business, because remember, our business is just a vehicle that's going to get us to our freedom. And that's the only way, you guys listening in, it's the only way that you can look at it. And if not, then you're just gonna spiral, right? You're just gonna live in a circular type of world, which is no good. The reason that I say it that I would challenge everybody to be different on the BHAG personally and for the business is that for your business, we need people, we need a team, we need team members. And if our team members don't believe that they can achieve their dreams in your vision, they are going to leave you. It's why I left Kinder, right? That's why, I left Kinder in 06 into 07, ended up being mid-year of 07 when we severed ties, was that I did not see or understand the vision and didn't believe I can achieve the things that I wanted to achieve in my life by being a part of it. That is why I am so adamant about vision. Like, yeah. I mean, how many times do I ask you guys, like, what's the vision? What's the vision? I do it also as a reminder because I don't want you to lose sight of it, because I know what happens. You will lose great people if you don't have a big, compelling, crazy vision for your business. The reason that I say the BHAG is the only thing different is because that's your personal, what you're trying to do. And team members don't really care about that. They don't care. They're like, that's for you, right? Like, oh, you want to create a freedom number, a passive income for you. What's in it for me? And that's, I think, what you have to take into consideration when you're building your vision for your company, is that people want to get excited and want to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, that is something that I always circle back to. It's because I've also been on the other side of what you're talking about as well too. When I many years ago, when I wasn't in alignment with the vision, I didn't understand it. I had my opinion about the future of my future and the future of real estate and so forth. So I've certainly been on the other side of that. I always remind myself not to forget that, because you couldn't agree more. We have these big, huge aspirations, this insane vision board, these huge goals, BHAG, 5-year targets. But we also have to remember that we're servicing a lot of real estate agents that aren't in the same position as us. And we have to remember that. And so we have to get them back to their purpose and their vision and why they're, what's in it for them, like you said.
Yeah, man. It's so
Yep.
important. So important. You said, 11 years in, and something I think about, I thought a little bit about it here recently, but, I think it from a coaching perspective, right? Like if I was to go back and coach, cause this October will be 20 years for me. And, I've just been kind of thinking about it, right? Cause you come up on those milestones and, I've thought about like, if I was coaching me and Kinder 20 years ago, what would I have coached us on? What would I have done differently? What would I have pushed us to do a better job of? What is that thought for you? Like, if you could reflect back to, Brandon getting into the business, in 2013, 2013 into 2014, like what would you be coaching yourself on?
Well, the mindset Greg and I have had for quite some time, I wouldn't say always had, but the mindset we currently have and continue to have is we want, when we're either bringing on a new agent to the team or to our brokerage or whatever that looks like, and we're going to be in proximity with them and we're going to be mentoring and or coaching them or whatever that looks like. We certainly want them to understand what it takes to be a real estate agent, but also we want them to know that we're trying to set them up for their success in the future and not just set them up for our success in the future. We always have a timeline involved in what that success is going to look like. So it's not open-ended. I think that's where I felt a little bit held back in my past, where I thought, well, there's no clear end game for me here. And it's all about other people rather than about me. And I always felt like it wasn't about all of us and it was just about other people. So I think that that's what we do a really good job at, is from day one, setting clear expectations of what we're trying to do for them. And I think, what do they say? It's people, I don't know what the saying is, but people join you for you, but also, they join your organization. How you bring them on is how they'll leave you. So I think if you set clear expectations right at the get-go, you'll be in good shape down the road. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. And it's, taking that into consideration and thinking more long-term, right? And really what's coming from that place of, okay, what would excite people to be a part of? And I think it's quicker. The quicker that you can realize is that you just need great people around you to achieve big things. Like you can't do it on your own. I mean, if anybody, I laugh at these clowns that say, oh, I saw 100 homes by myself. I'm like, no, you don't, motherfucker. I know you don't. Like, I know you have help, and like stop lying to people. But what's cool is that, it's such a transparent world that people see right through that nonsense. So it's like, like Tiger Woods has a team. Like, you know what I mean? Like even you get down into the most individual sports, they have a team of people around them. Like nothing is accomplished on their own. And so that's where I think I would push, kind of what you're saying a little bit there is like, okay, hey, we want to do something cool. We understand the mechanics of business. Offers minus no's equals yes. It's just math. Right? Traffic conversion, fulfillment, but we need a great team, and we need a great culture, and we need a culture that people want to be a part of, that they love, that they're having fun, and they're able to do the things that they're the best in the world at, that's fulfilling them. Right? If you can get that mix of culture dialed in, dude, like, I mean, what's really simple, and this is what I believe EXP's done, what Glenn's done a great job of. A slightly better than average competitive wage opportunity and an incredible culture. That's the secret sauce. Compensate people to where their bellies are full, where they're not obese, where they're not like glutton, but don't starve people. And then just create a great culture. a culture that you want, a culture of accountability, a culture of thriving, a culture of growth, a culture of being a better human. And I think if you can nail that, that's the secret sauce, man. When you can nail that, and you know what's funny? I think you got to experience just horrible culture to know what a great culture is.
To really appreciate it, I would say it certainly helps. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Bringing up some memories here, man.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's wild. What a wild ride.
Mhm.
So for you, Brandon, looking into the future, what are you excited about? Navigating. I mean, obviously, you're in Canada and having to deal with, the regulations and the things they're throwing at you. I mean, obviously it's a circus here in the States. Who knows what's going to happen between now and November. So like, what are you excited about moving into the rest of this year and as we close in on end of another decade?
Yeah. What am I excited about? Well, I had the conversation with Andrew today. We still want to continue with the fulfillment of helping agents, new and newer agents, become the best versions of themselves. That's up there. That's something that we'll continue to focus on and continue to strive towards anyways. And our purpose as within our Middletown Property Group, our purpose is to exist and provide exponential change in people's lives through real estate. So that could obviously be real estate agents, that can be buyers and sellers. So we're very excited about that continue and that growth that we'll see with that. We've got some awesome projects as far as team projects and developments, which we're very excited to launch soon as well too. Excited about that. And yeah, I mean, we keep things pretty simple. We have big aspirations, but at the same time, we don't, if that makes any sense. Like we just have a very clear plan of what we want to do, where we want to go. We live relatively simple lives. When I say we, I talk about myself and Greg, and we're excited about some future investments and where we're going to take that type of stuff and yeah.
Dude, I love it. I agree, man. I think, being able to, in fact, it was on my mindfulness session this morning, walking, I took a picture of it. Let me see. Just kind of made me reflect on it, is that our attention is often torn between memories of the past or imaginations of the future until that is, we remember to be present. And I think you look at, it's okay to reflect and learn from the things of the past. It's excited to imagine a bigger future, right? It's that for our present to be better, our future has to be bigger. And so I think it's important to do that, but even more importantly is to just be present and, navigate the waters that we have. We know we're working towards a bigger future.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, brother, I appreciate you carving out the time and jumping in here with us in the Honey Badger Nation, and really being a part of this entire Expert Mentor series. I mean, 261 episodes is just wild every week. Crazy. That we get to jump in. It's so crazy. I mean, you were back in the early days on, and have been throughout the entire journey and the entire ride. So. I appreciate you. If you guys listening in have not got connected with Brandon and what him and Greg and Micah and Spence and the whole collective are doing and what they're a part of, check it out. Right, get connected with Brandon, and man, can't thank you enough. Really being what this whole series is about.
Thanks, John. Yeah, we're building a great community, and we keep adding awesome talent to it. Just keeps getting better over here. So. Happy to chat anytime. Thank you.
Sweet. Awesome, brother. Guys, see you next time. See ya.